Road infrastructure enhances movement on the land and boosts socio-economic development of the society. This federal highway is one of such needed infrastructure, focusing on significant projects that is set to enhance connectivity and boost economic activities in Cross River and Akwa Ibom states, as well as other adjoining states in Nigeria. Having been constructed about 60 years ago, this road became dilapidated as motorists and commuters with no alternative have been grappling with movement until 2 years ago, when the road project was re-awarded by federal government to different construction firms. Sermatech Nigerian Limited is an indigenous firm handling some segments of the highway. Undoubtedly, the Calabar-Itu road serves as a vital artery for trade and transportation, linking various communities and allowing for the efficient movement of goods and people. However, years of neglect and inadequate infrastructure have hampered progress in this area.
All the efforts we are making is to support the federal government drive towards infrastructural development, the Renew Hope agenda. The company is poised to provide support as much as possible. That's why at every, opportunity, the company rushes for it, to deliver, to help, and make sure that, Nigerians are able to commute smoothly in support of the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President.
What then is the scope and specification of the contract?
The contract is a 28.6 kilometer dualization running from Odukpani Power Plant to Okuiboko. Odukpani Power Plant in Cross River State to Okuiboko in Akwa Ibom State. The road is, the initial scope was asphalt pavement, and the scope was later changed to rigid concrete pavement. We're running with the new scope now, which is the concrete pavement. The job was awarded and we commenced work in October 2021, and it's supposed to finish in October 2026. Continuing with that, if you see now, almost all through the length of the road, you see that different aspects of the work are happening simultaneously. There are areas in the swamp where we are doing sand filling, and there are areas that earthwork has even gone to the formation level, just waiting for the main pavement to come on it. Precast beams for Ayadege Bridge. Ayadege Bridge is a 140 meters span bridge. So it is going to be the third bridge that Sermatech has completed out of the 4 bridges on this alignment. So far, we have covered up to about 14 kilometers of completed roadworks out of the 28.6 kilometers that is on the contract.
Inokpatan speaks on the challenges faced by Sermatech in executing the project.
The biggest challenge to the contracts had been compensation, issues of compensation. So which is why you see us jumping certain sections, which have obstacles with structures. But it appears that the Cross River State government is beginning to settle that. So maybe the Cross River section will no longer be having issues, because we are beginning to see some demolitions going on. Beyond the issue of compensation, because you can't knock anybody's property down, to build a house. But the company has gone out of its ways to negotiate its way in areas where there are temporary structures and all that, to make, the progress that has been made.
On the various interventions Sermatech has undertaken with the states and beyond, the site agent gave a rundown of the palliative work done, even on areas not within the scope of their contracts.
Everywhere that compensation has not been an issue, earthwork had been done. And we've gone beyond that to even be giving palliative work. You saw the asphalt work that was done in JV section. And these are all calls that are made at short notice, even without documentation, and we go to work. See, the over 3 kilometers of asphalt work that is not ours, just to keep the road motorable from the Federal Ministry's instruction at Abuja and at Bekwara, where you heard how for several months and several weeks trucks were all stuck there. It was total gridlock and no movement whatsoever. But around November, we were called on to go to that place, and we have solved the problem. Vehicles are passing freely now.
And why is Sermatech undertaking portion of the road that is not within the scope and specification of the contract?
It's not part of our contract. It's supposed to be a palliative, which the ministry is supposed to sort out. But, there are long processes of, awarding contracts and all that. So, but, the minister will need people who will be able to deliver at short notice, because sometimes these are emergencies, gridlocks are formed here and there, and there will be need for a company that will be able to respond promptly. So Sermatech has continued to give the minister every support in this regard. Like about 3 years ago, were interventions that Sermatech had to do just to reduce the burden of the motorists, and also even help us in terms of our vehicles that are hauling materials from the other end. Some of those are totally at cost to the company. The road is progressing the way it's supposed to be progressing, and the important thing is we are doing everything to standard. Every now and then quality control checks are carried out, and the company has not been found wanting in any of this.
The Controller Federal Ministry of Works, Engineer Debisi Osim, appraised the work done.
For our road in Cross River, Calabar, we have 2 contractors handling them, the Julius Berger Nigerian PLC and Sermatech Nigerian Limited. For some time now, Julius Berger has turned down being on site because of some challenges. They could not change from asphalt to concrete, and they could not agree with what the ministry, so decided not to come to site. The Sermatech has been on the project site and do their needful what they're supposed to do at a slow pace, not really much. They are slow pace, but they are doing the work. The palliative work, the one at Calabar is about 3 kilometers, 2.8, probably between 2.8 and 3 kilometers, about 3.3 kilometers. That's the work that we've done there. While equally in that Abuja R6 is about 2.7 kilometers that they've done in the axis of Abuja axis, between Aquara axis for the palliative work. And please, motorists are enjoying the road now. I really encourage the contractors and tell them to do more work. And the work they are doing at low pace, they should increase the quantity and the level of work they are doing daily, so that we can achieve more work. This will help us to be able to cover much kilometers before the rain starts. So I will encourage them that they should increase the speed.
The chairman, Nigerian Society of Engineers Calabar branch, Alaga Joseph, gave a professional assessment of work done by Sermatech Nigerian Limited.
My assessment so far, in fact, I was even surprised that an indigenous contractor like this would have even done better. Even before I became the NSC chairman, this road is a popular route that we ply to Uyo and other south-south regions. So when these jobs were awarded, we found out that even this contractor had been on ground working while others were not even anywhere. And I just wonder why an expatriate company that was looked upon that will handle this project could delay so much for so many months. You don't see anything significant that they were handling. And that's why we keep talking about investing in local content. We look down on ourselves, but it is the same we that can build Nigeria for ourselves. If we look for a way to bring in these local contractors and take care of them, they will build good roads for us. Look at the quality of job. You can also see the finishing is commendable. So why are we now looking down on our own local contractors? instead of even encouraging them. And from time to time, this same company has been called to even go and intervene. I know of certain times that it was difficult for us to even cross between that Odukpanye Junction and power plant. So many people were stuck there. It is the same people that they call to go and carry out remedial works. And if these people have been doing this, I think the best thing is to encourage them. They are not doing bad. As you can see, they are already on site, still working. They are launching their beams today in the bridge, right here. If you look behind, you see it. This is what I feel we should look at also. There's also to look at this.
Local residents and stakeholders are optimistic all the positive changes the completion of this federal highway will bring, as already job done by Sermatech has reduced the man-hour often spent on traversing the roads.
I will say that I'm very proud of them because, one, they have proven to Nigerians that indigenous companies can actually do better than the multinationals in all ramifications, because they have been on site, never a day, never a time you will not see them. Any time and any day you come, you will see them. And if you also look at the intervention work done around the Julius Berger area, you understand that these are companies with, with zeal and tenacity and quality.
Around the Cross River State Akwa Ibom axis, we know that this road empties from Cross River State into the southeast section. The moment you get to Ikodekpene, a distant proximity to Aba, which is a major economic hub for us this side, is no longer far-fetched, and from there on to Onitsha. Let me say that the citizens of Cross River State, we have suffered untold hardship because of this road. Prices of things unnecessarily escalated because the businessmen go through very difficult situation to get the goods in. So if this road is not put in place, you see that even construction activities, I'm talking about infrastructure development, becomes very difficult. And there is no nation, no state that can do well without infrastructure. A section from Odukpanye Junction to somewhere the power plant, people sleep on those roads. It is no longer a news. It has become more like a normal, though a misnomer. So Julius Berger is not on site. They've left the site for some time. The section they have done, fantastic work. But what of the one that is remaining is been abandoned. The other section, which is a Sermatech section, they are working, they are on site. How do we know that? We pass through the road. That's the only contractor that is on site working. And recently too, the Cross River State government, as a responsible government, under the leadership of our father of the state, Senator Prince Basi Otu, we got a responsibility shifted to us that we need to handle the compensation and provide the right of way for the contractors, though not planned for, but because we know the importance of that road. The governor graciously granted approval for all of those issues to be sorted out. The only people that come to us as a state requesting that they need the right of way to work is Sermatech.
As a matter of fact, we are quite impressed with that company, with Sermatech. We did not know that they have that kind of expertise. Even the Minister of Work, Engineer David Umahi, who is a very iconic engineer himself, attested during a town hall meeting with stakeholders here a couple of months ago, attested to the fact that he's quite impressed with the quality of work on that road. And again, we appeal earnestly to the federal government to please encourage, encourage the contractor by funding them. Things are tough, and you know that every day the prices of things keep going up.
The Calabar to road is long overdue. Right from inception, I have been hearing that they are working on the road, and sometimes you see some companies will bring their vehicles, heavy equipment, and mount them by the road. So when we see them, we are happy. At least there's hope that they're going to work on that road. But to my greatest surprise, and I discovered that they didn't do the real work. They will just walk a certain place and stop there, and the road will still remain an eyesore. But I really want to commend the effort of Sermatech. So far, so good. From what we have seen, there is hope that we are going to have a better road. Yes, we are going to have a better road. I'm really anticipating. They have started the work, but I want them to do more. Let it not be like others that we have been hoping that they will do the road along the line, they will drop it. So I pray that God should give them the strength to finish this Calabar to road, because when it starts raining, when the rain starts, it's always not easy for us and the constituents. So we are praying that their job should come out well.
Well, for me, I think the main mention of Calabar to road will attract a lot of displeasure and dissatisfaction, and what I also say, disappointment, because that road has been long abandoned. That road have been responsible for a lot of devastations. Lives have been lost, properties, 1 million have been lost, and events have suffered frustration. We've had a lot of protests, we've had a lot of requests, we've had a lot of petitions, we've had a lot of appeals at various levels, calling on federal government to finally restore the people. We must acknowledge the fact that under the leadership of our President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there have been improved attention on that road. The minister have been on that road, to my knowledge, on 2 occasions, and the efforts of the governor of the state, because one major obstacle that affected the progress of that road was compensation. The question of compensation has been hanging, and His Excellency had to take that responsibility and intervene on behalf of federal government to pay compensation. Cross River State government ordinarily ought not to be responsible for that compensation.
I personally used to see Calabar road as a political issue, political project, that once it is election time, you see the federal government in particular and some political gladiators, they will bring contractors to deceive us. They've awarded contract for the dualization, rehabilitation of Calabar road. Once the elections are over, those people will pack the equipment and quit the site. That has been the recurring decimal until the present federal government came in and they showed some, what I may refer to as some degree of sincerity by awarding the contract to Julius Berger, the Sermatech, and I think CCCC, if I'm correct. It was a thing of joy. The joy knew no bound, especially for the fact that that was during my tenure as the chairman of the local government. In terms of economic importance, it's like Shagam or Benin Road. That's a hyper commercial activity road. You talk about Lagos, Ibadan, Ogbomoso, Ilorin. Those are hyper commercial roads. The irony of the whole thing is that Julius Berger is a foreign company, CCCC is a foreign company, Sermatech is an indigenous company. In fact, for me, that speaks volume as to
the fact that our indigenous companies are doing very well. They are not only doing very well, they apply the spirit of patriotism because they know that this is their own country. That ownership concept, that ownership mentality, which is what is lacking in the foreign companies. But Sermatech as an indigenous construction company, despite, I may be wrong, that the fact that they are not properly funded for the job, but they're on site. They are trying to do their best, the best that they can. So that shows her that the indigenous company are coming up, not just to do the best they can do, but with that spirit of patriotism. So I want to appeal to the federal government once again. Let them be more intentional, let them be more committed, let them be more deliberate. Me, I would encourage both the state, the local government, even the federal government to give more opportunities to indigenous companies. And Sermatech has proven itself to be a very strong, very reliable, very dependable, very patriotic construction indigenous construction company. So I encourage the federal government to identify some of such indigenous companies.
Acknowledge and commend the effort of the presidency through the Federal Ministry of Works. We are aware that the roads have been awarded and re-awarded as of last year, and I know it's encapsulated in the budget of 2025. Our appeal, our sincere appeal, is that the federal government will kindly mobilize the contractors to return to site around us. So I also want to appeal to the Federal Ministry of Works to come for on-the-spot assessment to see the true situation of the road. Most of the foodstuff that is being consumed in this part of the country comes from Cross River. And since the road is impassable, most times those goods are perishable, and the persons that are involved, the commercial activities in this stretch suffers a lot.
Commuters, though, appreciated the presence of Sermatech and the quality of work done, urged federal government to show more commitment to the completion of the work.
Well, they are trying anyway. My take is that they should, create, even if it is a temporary, road that we can be planned while they are doing their work, it will be better rather than keeping us at the spot for 3-4 hours.
I think I need to applaud them for that. I need to applaud them, and then they should do more. Let the sacrifice be there. They should do more.
It is on record that the Minister of Work, Dave Umahi, and members of the National Assembly Committee on Works had given a positive assessment of the quality of work done by Sermatech during the inspection of the road last year.
Encourage local contractors. Sermatech is doing a very good job. Very good job to check the quality of his work and compare with that of so-called lecture. That we cannot drink water and keep our cup. Go and see his concrete level. Go and see his, the quality of work. And so we've declared that we support local contractors.
Sermatech Nigerian Limited is determined to ensure that the Calabar Itu Federal Highway is completed within the scope, specification, and timelines, as the company will continue to engage critical stakeholders upon which the completion of this road is dependent on.